What it do, and welcome back to the Flagrant Free podcast. It's your boy Snaz back at Honeywood Studio.
Snazzy Snaz.
Yes, sir, and across the way, as always, feeling too good. How you doing, mate?
It's your boy. What's good? What's good, people? Shout out, we hit 500 followers on the socials.
Boom.
Appreciate the love.
Yes.
Shout out, everyone. Our guy Adam handles that side of business, and he kills the game. Edits
Absolutely
are on point.
Kills it, man. We've it's only been a week. So much has happened, man. So much has happened.
So much, yet so little.
So little, yeah. So we're gonna briefly go over the Philly ATL ending.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Atlanta won. Atlanta won. That's all we need to talk about.
Yeah, and, that's it. Don't. Stop. Do not mention Ben Simmons. I don't want to hear nothing about this man ever again. Ever.
This man's going to have to get a PhD to renew his green card because he's not going to be playing ball in the league much longer. Come on. Come on. But anyway, Atlanta absolutely killed Philly, as I predicted, and swiftly moved on to the Eastern Conference Final.
Where they monstered game one.
Yeah. But Trae Young, Ice Trae, that shimmy.
Ice Treasy.
That shimmy, if I was on the D, I would have been charging at him with hooks in mind.
I'd have cross-lined him for that.
No way.
Yeah, man, that was filth.
But the Bucks defense did deserve it. You cannot leave Trae Young.
Defense.
You cannot leave Trae Young that wide open.
You can't leave anyone that wide open on the Hawks. I mean, if we're talking Ben Simmons, then go ahead. But you know, most people in the NBA should be able to knock down that being left that open.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Trae Young needs enough time to glance at the hoop. That dude had enough time to sketch what the basket and everyone's face in the crowd looked like before he took that shot.
Sell it on fucking eBay before anybody even thought about running out to him.
But
yeah, it's shocking. But good all-round performance from the Hawks, really. That off the backboard to John Collins. Oh, that was a naughty boy. That was a naughty boy.
Doesn't matter what you had in your hands, you got up off the sofa.
Yeah.
On that play, I could have had my baby in my hands. That child would have got yeeted to the floor for me to go, oh, dang, that man's bad. That man's bad.
Tight game most of the way through.
Yeah.
Milwaukee leading going into the half, and then had a pretty poor third quarter. And obviously, you know, finished a tight game, and you needed 48 from Trae Young. Is that how this goes, do you think? Is that, if it's not a big game from Trae, I mean, 48 points, they're huge numbers.
But you look at how the Hawks have performed all the way through the postseason. If Trae Young isn't giving them offense, they don't get the dub. Whether that's points or assists, we could turn around and see Trae lacks a little bit on the scoring side in the next game, but up his assists like what he did in Philly.
Yeah, well,
and dominated in a different aspect because they are going to clamp down on him for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
and game 2, shout out Drew Holiday for finally showing up to the playoffs, getting a 20 bag. But
it's about time.
It did a great job on Trae Young. And Giannis doing Giannis things, and the entire team actually stepping up. I think it's not so much does Trae need a monster game. It's can the Hawks handle when the Bucks come at them full force.
Supporting,
yeah. When the supporting cast does their role.
It's kind of been the issue through the playoffs for the Bucks, is disregarding the Miami series, is there's not really been much support. You know, I think in the final game against Brooklyn, Pat Connaughton was the only bench player to score for both teams. But obviously this time round, you're getting good games from Drew Holiday. Chris Middleton's still doing what he's doing. PJ Tucker's still a defensive unit. You know, the stats don't show he's doing a lot, but he's doing a lot. And Brook Lopez giving you everything that he always does. You know, so is this...
I mean, the starting
Is
five.
it more of a confidence thing, do you think? Because the Hawks aren't supposed to be here and they was more scared of the Nets? Or do you feel that they're like the Bucks are just coming into their own kind of thing?
I think Trae Young is his own worst enemy. With the showboating and stuff, he got away with it in New York.
Yeah.
It worked to his advantage in New York. It worked to his advantage in Philly.
With injured team, yeah.
Yeah. But this is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And after the shimmy, you heard him in the huddle. We cannot let this man. We cannot let this guy do this to us. So I think he's his own worst enemy in this series because he's unwoken a beast of a team.
Yeah, well, in game 2, he was shut down heavy.
Yeah.
He shot 37% from the field.
And I truly believe
12% from 3, 1 of 8. 9 turnovers, 15 points, plus minus of minus 29, which is poor.
Yeah. But the thing is, with Trae, you're never going to knock his confidence. He's always going to come back at you. But I believe the Bucks now, it's their series to lose after that massive blowout. And they had full control from the opening tip. It was like no doubt about it. Atlanta weren't winning that game.
Yeah.
As soon as that ball was tipped, they weren't winning that.
6 points up in the first. They dropped 43 points in the second quarter to Atlanta's 17.
Yeah.
And other than the fourth quarter, which obviously, star players got sat, they won every quarter by a minimum of 8. So it was never. It wasn't even a contest really. But this is what I'm getting at. Trae dropping 48 in game 1 and they only won by 3. Is it Trae Young needs to be shut down and Atlanta are shut down, or is it just the Bucks have come into their own now? Do you think it's going to be a dominant performance going forward?
I think if the Hawks come out playing great team ball, then they stand a chance. But if it all relies so heavily on Trae to have these monstrous games, then it's game over. It's game over because even if he does have a monster game, all that needs to happen is Giannis to have a beast of a game, Drew Holiday to have an okay game, same with Chris Middleton, and they get a dub.
Yeah.
So I truly believe now Bucks are going to win the next 3 on the bounce.
3 on the bounce.
3 on the bounce.
Game over.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, game 3 tonight.
Yep.
1:30 in the morning, UK time. First game in Atlanta, so we'll see how it goes.
In the fortress. Caca.
So, out west, WCF.
Oh.
What do you feel on the 3-1 situation that the Clippers are in right now?
Can I just say this has been a very entertaining series so far.
Yeah, man.
It's been fun. We've had the valley oop, we've had broken noses, we've had Chris Ball coming back.
Yep.
Oh, but a lot of missed free throws. I will say, both 2 out of the 3 wins for the Suns come off of Paul George missed free throws.
Free throws, yeah.
And I love what Ty Lue's been doing because he's chopping and changing at every obstacle.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job. Game 1, he realised that the Clippers didn't have much height. And then he went deep in the bench and pulled out DeMarcus Cousins, who hasn't played in the playoffs. And he come out, he had a good first quarter and did DeMarcus Cousins things for a little bit.
Yammed on mans.
And Terrence Mann as well. If he played him earlier in the series, maybe game 1 would have been swayed a little bit more. He needs to solidify Mann in the starting lineup, most definitely, because he brings that energy. He's that young guy, and every time he's on the floor, he makes a difference. And he fits well with his Clippers dog mentality.
Terrence Mann started it, but he seemed it was like 50-50 minutes with Rondo.
Yeah.
So I feel what you're saying. And obviously after the huge series he had against Utah, maybe you would put a little bit more trust in him, and I hope he reacts well to the trust. But as you said, Ty Lue has been chopping and changing these whole playoffs, and it's worked in his favour. 3-1's a big hole. They were 2-0 obviously.
Got a good win in
in
game 3.
They evened it up in both first series and the second series against the Jazz. They were never in a 3-1 situation. So
no, it's a
big hole.
Even though they got a big, I thought game 3, after the game 3 win, I thought, you know what, it's going to be tied. We're going to 7.
But this is it. They're again, the Clippers win, the sole win they have, comes with a little bit more authority than all 3 Phoenix wins. You know, game 1 was a little comfortable for Phoenix. It was only a 6-point win, but it was their most comfortable win. It was Phoenix's most comfortable win. Obviously, game 2 was won on the lob by AIN with 0.9 seconds to go. How you didn't see that come in, boys? If any of the Clippers are listening, or Tyler are listening.
4 years ago with Tyson Chandler, the exact same play.
0.9 seconds. There's only one thing that they can be doing in that situation.
Yeah.
Anyways, you know, and as you said, if Paul George had knocked down even one of the free throws, it goes to overtime.
Yeah. It's a different ball game.
Yeah. And then last night, I think it was a 4-point game when Paul George had his free throws. You know, and he couldn't give his team the chance to get in there. And I mean, it was a dirty rim out, but it was a rim out nonetheless.
Yeah.
It didn't go in, and that was the.
And what I hope DeMarcus Cousins goes home and reads the NBA rule book on what is legal off a rebound of a free throw. The ball has to hit the hoop.
Well,
has to hit the rim.
This has been a big problem a lot of people have been talking about with obviously Giannis is 10 seconds at the line and stuff like that, and they've never officiated the free throw rules properly. You know, people that shoot a free throw, it should be nigh on impossible for them to get their own rebound, but it happens regularly. People out on the 3-point line that cut in and get their own rebound happens regularly. Then people aren't supposed to enter until the ball hits the rim. The ball is not in play until it hits the rim. But
that's always been the way. I've seen clips of Michael Jordan getting his own rebound off a free
Allen
throw.
Iverson over Marcus Camby in his rookie year. He comes out from the 3-point line.
It's, as quick as AI was, impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
Impossible. But
the Clippers are in some bother here.
They're in trouble.
I was going to ask, do you feel that Kawhi Leonard comes back for an elimination game? Well, obviously we spoke about it in a pod previous when they were in a bit of a hole against the Jazz after he first went out. Does he play an elimination game? Obviously he didn't, but this is the Western Conference Finals. I was going to ask that question. However, just as we were setting up, got a notification through on my phone that says he is not likely to travel with the team because the elevation will not be good for his knees. So, I mean
that's not a good sign.
No.
He's not even going to be in the building.
I would like to say that he'd done the same thing in Toronto and played through because, you know, he was supposedly injured in the Philly series when he played for Toronto, and then obviously in the finals, and he just wanted to get that ring, but he doesn't seem up for it. He doesn't seem up for it, or it's obviously a lot worse than they're making it out to be.
I mean, it must be a lot more serious than what the media are letting on, or what he's choosing to let the media out, I think.
Especially being that he's got an option this year. But do you feel it's different if Kawhi's playing?
If Kawhi's playing, this series is probably tied now, I think.
Well, what game would you say they win then? Because
I say they probably win.
Last night.
Mate, yeah, last night. The last 2 games, they still go down 2-0, I think.
Yeah, fair.
But I think that the next 2 they take at home. Like, to lose 1 of 2 at home in the playoffs is quite. It hurts. It's quite detrimental to. Yeah. It's all about home court advantage in the playoffs. But I truly believe LA could be heading to the finals. It would be. I think it'd go to a 7-game series if Kawhi was in the picture. I believe now it's game. It's going to be a 4-1.
Yeah.
4-1 Phoenix.
While we were on this series, how did you feel about Masked Booker?
Game 3, not that impressed.
No.
To be honest.
Shot 36%, 25 points. Yeah, how does he stack up against the other greats that have worn masks?
Oh, you're talking about Kobe's stint in the mask.
Kobe's stint in the mask, LeBron's stint in the mask.
Kyrie.
Obviously, Rip Hamilton's 4 years in the mask. Yeah. Westbrook had a good stint. I mean, it turns some people up, man. People come in.
I mean, if we're going best all time.
At times, like Kyrie in the mask, at that point in time, I think he hit career highs.
Yeah.
LeBron, I think he dropped 61 on...
LeBron is actually the reason why coloured masks are banned from the league, because he had
ones.
he had the
carbon fibre
the
one.
Batman one, the Batman looking mask. Yeah, man.
Straight up, aren't you?
But I think if you're talking best masked player of all time, I'm going to go with Rip Hamilton because of the extensive usage of it, and he was still
it become a superstition, didn't it?
Yeah.
If he didn't wear that, then, and that's actually something we haven't seen these playoffs. Usually, a superstition comes along. Last year, for example, when I think by the time the Lakers had got to the finals, they hadn't lost in their black jerseys,
in their Kobe jerseys,
and they wore them.
Yeah,
for most of the finals. I think only one game they didn't wear them. They did end up losing.
They did lose in them.
They did lose.
Because I remember Jay Crowder's comment.
But it's the same, and I think obviously this is probably a pull on LeBron's weight. 2016 finals, they didn't lose in the t-shirt, the black t-shirt jersey.
True. Even though he ripped the sleeves on every single game. Yeah, but those jerseys, the sleeve jerseys were the most trash jerseys.
Oh, mate.
Oh, man. But yeah, I think
usually
you're
a
right.
Superstition comes along in the playoffs, and we've not seen nothing yet. But it didn't work out for Booker. He didn't wear it in Game 4. He obviously don't give a crap about his nose, or
no.
But it obviously hindered him because, I mean, 25 points is still.
It must affect your peripherals. It must affect your vision quite substantial. Even though it's clear, it's got to block your eyesight in some way, surely. And when you're a player like Booker,
you need to be seeing
you need to be seeing everything.
I mean.
He did say, "I just need to see the hoop."
Was it the mask, or was it the fact that he just had better defense on him?
Perhaps.
Bearing in mind last night's game didn't even get to 85 points. Neither team got to 85 points. It was a great defensive team.
Yeah.
Great defensive game.
Not a lot to see there for your casual
80s,
fan.
80s and 90s for everybody that says that we miss them days. It was nice to see, man, and it was nice to see. Like, we saw some early physicality in the Brooklyn Milwaukee series.
I was going to say this,
and then a lot of people bitching about it, and it's like, well, stop fucking. You want one way or the other. Do you want the '90s ball back, or do you want the physicality? Do you want the reffing?
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, just.
I think like last night's Game 4, that was the first bit of playoff ball that we've actually seen this playoffs. It was tough. It was that I was seeing elbows getting thrown about. It was every time someone went in the paint, they were getting checked. It was proper basketball, and that's why it was such a low scoring game. But the casual fan hates that. The casual fan does not enjoy a low scoring game, is it? But guys like me and you who appreciate defense, and I'm sure most of our listeners appreciate a bit of defense here and there. No one wants to see a 40-point, 50-point blowout in the playoffs, especially in the conference finals. You know what I mean?
And that's why I think these playoffs the conference finals have been good so far, but up until then, when we've had like 25-point turnarounds, it's just like
it's stupid. You can't have that in the playoffs,
man. Like
you should be in the playoffs for a reason.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
you should be in the top 16 teams in the league, which you shouldn't allow your defense to give up 120 points, 130 points. No. Ridiculous.
No, but it's just the way the game's changed, I suppose. It's just heavy shooting, 3-point behind the line, rapid fire points, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It is. But I mean, last night we didn't have that. We had a really good game.
Yep.
Physical game.
And that's probably the one thing that I like about Booker a bit more than maybe any young star is that he favours the mid range over the three.
Yeah.
And that's obviously why a lot of people are comparing him to Kobe, because Kobe was phenomenal from mid, like post, and taking it to the hole. And Devin Booker will knock down a three, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that by any means, but his go-to, similar to Durant as well. His go-to is the mid-game.
But you look at some of the best shooting guards and small forwards that have ever played the game, like Dwayne Wade. He favoured the mid-range. Kobe favoured the mid-range. Even AI favoured the mid-range.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those guys weren't afraid of having their shots blocked and their image blocked. And even in this era now, I think like Klay Thompson as well. He loves the mid-range, but he's just an elite shooter. He's going to shoot.
shoot.
Hand in his face, no matter what, he's going to make it 9 times out of 10. But I think your best shooting guards, small forwards, should favour your mid-range. Although obviously three's better than two, but
yeah, that I think
two's more consistent than three. So it's
as I said about not Memphis, Utah. When they were losing 4-point games, they were trying to win them back on threes, and it just wasn't falling.
It's two
but
baskets.
Your percentage goes through the roof. You take 2 steps in from the 3-point line.
Yeah, exactly.
So
everyone on the team should be able to shoot from inside the three.
Exactly. And let's be real, you got a 45-degree angle on that backboard.
It's cash money. You know what I mean? It's
the only way your ball's
got the biggest target in the world to hit.
The only way the ball's getting stopped is to stop them from going in the hoop, as if it's blocked. That bank shot. Tim Duncan me up.
Tim Duncan, OG.
Well, that's the conference finals done, bro.
What you got for dunks?
Let's move on to. You want to go dunk to the night?
Let's
dunk to the night. Dunk to the night.
Adam, we're still waiting on a little jingle for dunk till tonight. What's going on?
Right, here's my first one for you, bro. Dunk to denied. Dame stays after the hire of Chauncey Billups as the head coach in Portland.
Denied. Let me tell you why. It doesn't matter who the coach is in Portland. Damian Lillard does not need to be coached. Like, that guy is so far along in his career. He knows his game. He knows how to win. He needs the support. He doesn't need a first-year coach to come in and try and help him get dubs. I might be very, very wrong, and Chauncey Billups turns into the next Steve Kerr or whatever, but there's too much going on.
Foundations laid.
Yeah, there's too much going on in Portland, and I think Dame wants out. It's either he wants out or he wants a complete roster change up, and I think it's going to be easier for the franchise to rebuild around this new coach than it would be to get Dame in line with Chauncey. And although Chauncey Billups is probably one of my top 10 point guards, because I just loved Chauncey Billups. I loved the way he played. And his stint in Denver was obviously one of the best Denver teams we've ever had, but I just don't...
Yeah, I don't think you want to gamble. I rate Chauncey Billups, but obviously, as you say, his first year head coach. I
don't think that's going to look too appetising for
Terry
Dame.
Stotts wasn't a bad coach.
No,
he wasn't a bad coach. He just he had too many opportunities to get the job done, and the team. This is the problem now. Is it's not.
It's always the coach's fault nowadays,
the coach's
isn't
fault
it?
nowadays. Yeah, it is. Which is wrong, because you can only do so much.
You don't see Steve Kerr losing his job.
Due. I mean, if you want to talk about coaches, Nate McMillan, you look at what Atlanta was before he took over.
Yeah.
I think they were. I think their record was. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around 11 wins and 20 losses. And now look at them. So yes, a coach makes a difference, but that much of a difference when you have the talent that they have in Portland, no. When you play the game that they play in Portland, no.
It doesn't even match like Chauncey's style.
No, exactly. It's like a run and gun team, isn't it?
It's Dame or nothing in Portland, you know. And
so we're both going denied.
I'm going denied.
Yeah, I'm going denied. I don't know if trade Dame will demand a trade. Maybe.
I think
maybe not. But
depending what happens with this Ben Simmons, CJ McCollum deal. That would be the decider.
I'd leave if Ben Simmons joined my
I'd get the
fucking
F
team.
out of town if Ben Simmons was coming on my team. No way.
I had this one set up, but it's kind of already been answered. Should Kawhi play an elimination game?
If he's that hurt, no.
No.
Next.
If he's that hurt, yeah. But I mean, we all know.
But I mean, we know
about
what Kawhi's like.
Yeah. So moving on. Paul George, 2 games, 2 opportunities at the free throw line, and he's crumbled. Does this separate him from other superstar players in the league right now? Now, bearing in mind, he's played well this year and he has lived up to his self-given title of playoff P this postseason.
Yeah.
Where, you know, disregarding 1 or 2 games maybe, but this once you can kind of put out there like, all right,
jitters,
yeah, whatever, but twice now.
I mean, going back to my comments last week of saying that Paul George is better when he's the number 1 player on the team. Right now he is, but he's got to be that clutch guy.
Yeah,
he's got to be that clutch guy, and it's free throws, man. It's free throws.
Exactly. How many free throws has Paul George shot over his lifetime? How many free throws does he shoot and practice in a year? I mean, we're talking thousands.
Yeah,
and you've got 2 in 2 different games to, you know, help your team with a better lead in the series. And you've crumbled, and I think this
missing those free throws, he kind of eliminates himself from a top 10 spot in the league. I think he's.
I mean, I think I'd have struggled to get him top 10, but yeah, I mean, he's not done himself favours. Like the way his playoff performances so far has sort of pushed pandemic P to the back of everybody's mind, but this, I think, is brought him back down again.
Yeah, and it's all about his recovery from it. It's all about how what he can do the rest of the series.
Recover from the first one, from the first missed free throws by making the second game.
Yeah,
making the same shots in the second game,
and it didn't happen.
But
yeah, I'm going to say dunked. I wouldn't put him in the same category as a KD or a James Harden or any of those kind of guys. No, I don't think he's the type of guy that can carry a team to a chip. I don't think he's that caliber.
No,
you need to be able to be clutch to be that caliber.
If there's any year for any team to have a standout guy that carries their team, this is the year. There's no outright winner. We're not walking in with a finals matchup already set. Like we have done in previous years.
After that first round, the West was open. Mm-hmm. You know that as soon as the Suns dismantled the Lakers, it was anyone's West. Yeah, you know, and this could be the only year.
Be one of the more exciting playoffs, and it is in that sense. But you know, with the blowouts prior to the conference finals, the blowouts and the like I say, the 25-point turnarounds is just bullshit.
Yeah, it's not been entertaining. I haven't
enjoyed it up until this point.
I'm hoping the finals give us a little something.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously we touched on this earlier. Does Trey need a monster game to pull through against the Bucks?
I'm going to go denied. Trey needs the Bucks to not play very well to get this dub. It don't matter what Trey does.
Do you think so?
As long as the Bucks play the Bucks ball, it's game. But if the Bucks don't play well, Trey could have a trash game, but the Hawks would still get the dub. It's for me. It's all about the Bucks. The Bucks win or lose this
Trey
series.
could have a trash game, but the Hawks could
Scoring,
still get the dub.
scoring wise, he could have a trash game. He could pick up 10, 15 assists, and they still get the dub.
Yeah, like against Philly when he dropped 18. Yeah. I'm going dunked on this. I think Trey needs big numbers to pull through against the Bucks.
Fairs.
I really think he does. I think if he's not scoring 35 plus, they ain't not in with a shot at all. Unless it comes from, Bogdanovic or whatever.
Red Velvet. Red Velvet. I'm never calling a man Red Velvet.
Yeah, I'm going.
No way.
Dunked. He needs big games. So and staying there is Milwaukee's supporting cast finally showing its worth now.
Yes. Dunked on that. Dunked
on that. I agree. Milwaukee
About
coming through.
Damn time as well.
And this is a special question. The 25-year anniversary. Dunked or denied. Leading on to a good debate here.
Oh.
25 years ago, the 96 draft. One of the greatest drafts ever.
Absolutely, man.
Dunked or denied, it's the greatest draft ever.
Oh, man. See, it's either the 84. I think 84 was Jordan, Charles Barkley, and Stockton. Was it Stockton as well?
Stockton,
Hakeem, yeah. It's either 84, 96, or 03. But for me, I think we've seen more out of the 96 draft. I mean, these guys changed the game. AI changed the culture around basketball. He took it out of Michael Jordan's Be Like Mike era and turned it into the hip-hop era of NBA. You had Kobe coming fresh out of high school, the best player out of that draft, I might add. Mamba is king.
Yep.
Kobe come out and Kobe ended up being arguably the second best talent the NBA has ever seen.
Yep.
You've got Steve Nash,
yep.
Another absolute killer. Ray Allen got a ring with the Celtics, absolute dead-out shooter.
Ring with Miami.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
True. And even like Stephon Marbury.
Stephon, yeah.
It's such a
Marcus Camby.
Is it Peja Stojakovic as well?
Stojakovic.
Man, what a deep
Jermaine
draft.
O'Neal.
What a deep draft. And
Ilgauskas, Cleveland legend.
I think most of them went on. A lot of them went on to get rings, but apart from the number one.
Yeah,
I think
I wanted to bring this up actually. We talked about, I think last episode we was talking about small markets and bringing teams in, and I think prime example is Shaq not going to Philly with Iverson. Obviously, I know it was prior to that.
Yeah.
Prior to it, or was it the year of the draft or the year after the draft? Either way, Shaq goes to Philly. Does Iverson have 3 rings like Kobe?
I think LA, that's the thing, they don't get them in 96, 97, 98. They just don't get them.
Nah.
But
this is what I'm saying, with Iverson and Shaq, as Shaq in his absolute prime, and obviously Iverson rookie of the year, he come out, he was NBA ready.
Yeah, he did, yeah, and he dominated that class and won rookie of the year, closely followed by, I'm pretty sure it was Ray Allen was the runner-up for rookie of the year. But I don't know, because for Shaq, I think what Shaq got out of going to the Lakers was he kind of inherited Kobe's working hard. Like Kobe's an unspoken talent. He's incredible, but his work ethic was there to kind of pick up where Shaq didn't. And we all know
Iverson's practice.
Yeah, we talking about practice. That's a recipe for disaster if your two stars don't really care too much.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, no, facts.
But overall talent is a tough match because Kobe says AI was the hardest guy for him to guard apart from MJ. But obviously Kobe coming into the league as MJ's sort of depleting out of it.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, I still go Lakers was the best option.
Yeah.
Even though AI is probably one of my favourites out of that draft. 100%.
Iverson's the reason I got into basketball. So I agree with you there. And obviously, at the time I was getting into basketball, nobody liked Kobe. But, you should give people their flowers while they're still here, right?
Yeah.
And I did learn to love him as time went on, after he won the ring against the Celtics. I really did fall in love with his game. And rest his soul. We all wish we could see him more.
Oh, yeah. Imagine what he would be doing now. Would he be coaching in the NBA?
Nah, maybe the WNBA.
I reckon so, because he was heavy with the WNBA.
Real
massive
big
supporter of the WNBA.
Real big up the Mamba.
Yes, sir.
But huge draft class. I'm going to favour the 03 draft class.
Yeah?
Yeah, 84 draft class is obviously, very, very good draft
was
class.
Giving up the number 2 pick, Detroit's biggest blunder in their franchise history by not selecting Carmelo.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. It's not even debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they win the 04 championship?
Yeah, they beat the Lakers.
They beat the Lakers in 2004, and they probably would have won in 2005 if they had Carmelo Anthony.
Because that was one position they were always kind of like they didn't have that OP guy. They got Prince eventually, but like
but I mean,
I would have taken
Prince or Carmelo
I would have taken Melo over Prince all day every day.
Yeah, I don't get it, but
I mean that's fair. Because that was a deep. These two drafts were deep. Talent everywhere in these drafts.
Mentionable,
like the first 6.
Names: David West, Boris Diaw, Travis Outlaw, Kendrick Perkins,
Chris Bosh,
Leonardo Barbosa,
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, I mean that's the top. Jason Capono, anybody remember him? Ex 3-point champ.
Capono.
Willie Green for anybody
Willie
remembers the old
Green,
M1 days.
These are all blasts from the past.
Yeah, man. Mo Williams, late James Jones.
I mean,
Josh Howard, Carl Korver. There's some names you forget, but
for me, the 03 draft hits a bit home for me because that's the reason I watch and play ball is Melo.
Yeah.
First time I ever watched a game of basketball was when I was in Orlando. I was 10 years old. I think it was the NCAA championship for Syracuse. That was the first full game of basketball I ever watched. Yeah. And it was Carmelo Anthony that made me want to watch. And when he got drafted to Denver, that's why I'm a Denver fan,
That's fucking sick, man. What a game.
Mate, absolutely killer game. I'm watching it in a sports bar as a 10-year-old. With those girls walking around them short. It was great. Great. Stuck with me.
Yeah, 03 is the one for me. I think. Obviously, we'll probably get a bit of backlash from that. 96 draft, I think, is what got me into basketball. But I didn't get into basketball same as you until 04, 05, and obviously. The 03 draft is the generation of players I was watching as the 96 draft was kind of not fading out. But like the passing of the torch come.
I think it's fair to say the 96 draft did more for the NBA.
Absolutely, yeah.
But then the 03 draft was probably the more dominant of the two.
The 03
and the
draft
ring
goes
counter.
deeper.
I'm pretty sure the ring counter might back us up there as well.
03,
yeah,
would be a lot bigger.
Obviously, you got Bosch had 2.
Chris Bosh got 2. Dwayne Wade's got 3.
LeBron has
got
4.
4.
Sorry, Mello.
Yeah.
Oh,
Kendrick Perkins has got 1. You know, you go deep. David West's got 1. Mello. Sake. You know, and even
Mello.
even sort of like backup players somewhere in the draft. It's just a little deeper in 03. Steve Blake.
Steve
Zaza
Blake.
Pachulia, come on the boy. Josh Howard. Anyone remember Josh Howard? I liked him.
Is it just me, or does Zaza Pachulia look like one of the cavemen from Ice Age?
Savage motherfucker. Savage.
You wide-faced.
Right, let's quickly touch on what Scottie Pippen's been saying.
Oh. So KD sent his food back because there weren't enough salt on it, man. That geezer is a sour dude.
Oh,
He's
man.
a sour guy.
So Scottie's been going at all the legends.
Tell us what Scottie said. You got what Scottie said up?
Scottie feels that LeBron never got help in any championship. Ever.
Did he not watch last year's playoffs?
I mean, yeah, okay.
LeBron's always had help. LeBron didn't hit the last shot in the 3-1 comeback against Golden State.
No,
he got the block.
He got the block.
He didn't hit that game winner. He didn't save the series against San Antonio.
He didn't hit the game winner, or he didn't hit the go-ahead bucket, but he iced it on the free throw line.
He did, yes.
And
that's fair.
While we're there in Game 7, had he got that dunk on Draymond Green, that probably would have been the best dunk of all time.
Yeah.
that was going to be an all-time banger in a Game 7 that you just...
But
yeah,
I mean,
I don't agree with Scottie Pippen saying he didn't have help, but nobody wins a championship without help. Nobody in their life has won a championship without help.
No.
Maybe Kawhi and Toronto if you want.
Yeah,
but Kyle Lowry's a good player,
and you're playing up against a Golden State Warriors team without a deep bench because they went all out on their starters.
Klay Thompson fucked himself as well.
Klay Thompson out, KD out.
Yeah.
And you just had Steph Curry, who's notorious for not showing up in the finals all that much, you know? But, yeah, Scottie's in the wrong there. But, I mean, KD didn't have to bite back the way KD bites back.
No, KD's always going to be a sour patch dull.
I mean, I get it. Like, KD, as an NBA player, you must be sick and tired of having to read and build yourself around what people think of you, especially like the old dogs like Scottie Pippen, that just because they played in Michael's era and this, that and the other, they think they're still relevant. And it's kind of, it's hard to chuck comments about when Scottie didn't win a ring without MJ. And I'm not sure if that's what he was getting at. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but... You know, KD bringing up about Scottie Pippen sitting out
when he was supposed to be in the game, hitting game winners.
Yeah, but just because the drill didn't go his way.
In the season that Michael Jordan decided to go and play baseball, he still led that team to 55 wins.
I mean, yeah.
Nobody wins a championship without help.
No,
it's a team game. You don't win it without help, and I do disagree to say LeBron's had the most help. He had a stacked team in Miami, yes. He had Dwayne Wade in his prime, yes. Chris Bosh wasn't half the player. He was on his own in Toronto when he was in Miami. He was still good, don't get me wrong. He was still very good, but don't chat shit like it was the Boston Big Three or even anything compared to what the Warriors had. It wasn't on that level. Chris Bosh isn't that good. Dwayne Wade was in his prime, but he wasn't as good as '06 finals, Dwayne Wade, '06 playoffs, Dwayne
Flash
Wade.
Wade.
Yeah,
Flash
Wade. Yeah,
Flash.
he wasn't there. He was still very good. And
But that was LeBron's
don't talk to
team.
me about Kyrie and Kevin Love. Kevin Love was fucking garbage the second he got to Cleveland.
How'd you go from having a 30 rebound game
Well,
with the Timberwolves and that, and then camping on the? This is what annoys me about Kevin Love is he was like building up to want to be one of the best power forwards to play, and like I'm not exaggerating that. Anytime you have games like Kevin Love had,
in Minnesota,
Minnesota was beastly.
Yeah,
and he proved that he can dominate the paint, and he could shoot, which was great. But he went to Cleveland. And he didn't even try to get rebounds. You know what I'm saying? He lived on that corner free the entire time LeBron was there. He lived on that corner free. And you're that big, man. Yeah. You're that good a scorer as well.
Yeah.
Get your big ass inside. Get a rebound, man. You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough because that team ultimately had the biggest comeback in playoff history.
Oh, he's
had a
you
great
could argue
win.
It's the greatest championship of all time.
What a story!
Yeah.
Like
against the team that was as well.
Yeah,
you could. It makes good arguments say it's the greatest championship of all time.
Well, look at the repercussions of LeBron winning that championship. The league changed the next day.
Yeah, almost.
KD straight away went and signed with the Warriors. Thus began super teams and the decline, in my opinion, of the NBA in general.
Yeah.
Because those few seasons where KD was on the Warriors, it was like, good God, will this slaughter ever end? Like it's.
Yeah.
And I think Toronto beating them in the finals was the best thing to happen to the NBA
because it shut it down.
Yeah, it ended it.
So Scotty, you've just been drinking too much of that bourbon, bro.
Bourbon, yeah?
Yeah,
drinking them biscuits, bro.
Just released a new bourbon, apparently.
Bourbon, man.
Bourbon, whatever. Bourbon.
Bourbon's a chocolate biscuit, bro. You're British, you should know this, man.
I'm not a drinker, alright, bro? I'm not a drinker. Just give me a glass of water and a cracker.
Give this man a glass of biscuits.
Yeah. These are bourbon, isn't it?
Bourbon, fam.
Bourbon.
They're spelt the same, pronounced different.
On the socials, what is it? Fucking
oh
bourbon
my
or bourbon?
God. Oh, there goes our 500 followers, fam.
I'll shout you out. I'll send you all the bottles. Yeah. You back me up. Scotty Pippen needs to hit us up with the sponsorship.
But KD,
huh?
But KD needs to give away all the passwords to his social media and just leave that.
He's almost
leave that
as bad
stuff
as Donald
alone.
Trump.
Oh, and he just
give it a rest, man. Like you've been in the limelight for like what, 15 years now?
Yeah. And he always manages to find his way onto a Twitter meme.
You're a salty motherfucker.
He's a salty guy. Amazing player. Salty guy.
Yeah.
Should be limited to what he posts on social media. I think he should be monitored.
It brings his legacy down.
It does, because
I mean, you compare the greats, Jordan obviously he had issues, but God forbid there was social media in them days.
Whoa.
But he had issues, obviously, gambling rumours, etc. And then, Kobe, he had some issues as well, but it was all external. KD creates these issues himself, man. And then, in a generation where you're working alongside LeBron, who's the perfect role model.
Yeah, it's impossible to look at LeBron and go, he's a dick.
Yeah, it is. The guy's never stepped out of line on or off the basketball court.
Never forgotten his community.
No.
He's never
not to say
never cheated on his wife.
KD doesn't give back or anything like that, but
it's hard to appreciate someone when they're salty. You know what I mean? It's like taking a bite out of your dinner and going, it's a bit salty.
Mackie D's, you put too much salt on my chips.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro.
I don't need extra.
I don't need no salt on them fries, fool. Yeah.
Speaking of McDonald's, that's if you want to find Ben Simmons next year, go to Philadelphia Macca's, bruv. 'Cause he's going to be asking you if you want fries with that.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell.
Oh, Jesus.
You gotta love it.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Well, that'll probably hit us there.
Yeah.
I think we chatted too much shit.
Finals are coming.
The finals are coming, and a little bit sooner for the Clippers than we might have anticipated.
The Suns. The Clippers ain't getting to the finals, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Am I tripping?
You're tripping.
Am I tripping?
You're tripping.
What did I say then?
Is it a bit earlier for the Clippers? I ain't going now. They're going fishing.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I don't
Anyway.
know what I'm saying.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there, guys.
Yes,
it's,
sir.
It's been emotional.
Yeah, appreciate all the followers. Like I say, we hit 500. We hit 500 followers in what? This is our 5th episode.
Number 5 now.
Sick, man.
Yeah, boy.
Real cool. Like we're getting some good numbers on the pods as well. So we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, review, do what you got to do. Follow us on the Instagrams, on Twitters, whatever else we're on. I don't even know. Adam, run the reel.
We've got some new things coming in the pipeline, especially post-season. You want to be hanging about.
We've got some fun stuff coming for your, the off season.
Absolutely.
Gonna run some more competitions. Yeah, man, get at us with some stuff. We get some messages, but it's usually hate mail. So get off the air, you jackass!
You jag. Right, it's been Snaz and Mr. Feeling Too Good on the Flagrant 3 podcast.
Yeah,
Peace out, players.
Peace.